by Hank G. It's time to see how Dust2 will shape up the desk, so beautifully articulating exactly what they have expectations for of G2 and managing them. And I think that's fair enough. However, there is also that lovely little end of the sentence when they preface saying, but it's also the individuals of G2. You can always count on a little bit of a curveball. Let's see what the setup for the pistol is, though. Let's jump in.
Well, we have got G2 focusing towards the B tunnel to the bomb for now, at least. You had Astralis, there were 4 players towards the A start there for the initial rush. And it's going to slow right down, though. G2 will have a couple of smokes available to them, a Molotov as well. Suggest an A finish or maybe a mid-split towards B. We'll see whether they are going to show any sort of aggression at the start as they hold very tentatively to outside long. And we have a rotation from Kenny S towards the B tunnels here. So we'll have 3 towards that position. Majors is sat there with the smoke in hand, making sure if he spots anyone or gets any sound cues, he'll just be slowing them right down, making sure they can't swarm towards that side of the map, which is looking very likely. There's the smoke, and there's the delay play.
Yeah, that's going to be perfect from Magisk, and doesn't manage to catch them with a nade, but it's plenty of information for free, and his friends can react accordingly. They did leave somewhat of a backup plan established towards the top of middle, though. They were hoping to see if that presence in B would draw an aggressive push from long, and at the moment, not to be the case. Dupree standing his ground.
Well, towards long they go. Zipex baiting in Dupree there, who waits patiently towards the pit. He's going to try and take as much aggro as he possibly can. This will be a long finish from G2. Of all 5 players now, they're going to try and smoke towards a crossover. Molotov behind the bomb site, but they need to check that pit position and make sure they do it efficiently. Dupree still lying in wait. He's going to be baited in once again by Zipex. What a bait that is. They're not going to check this pit position at all. They've jumped in, and Kenny S is not going to check the position.
Yeah, there's a big opportunity for Dupree. He wants to get it right, and from behind he strikes just the one. Turns around and keeps the heads completely facing towards his direction. Kenny, though, 1 versus 3. He's already found 2. He'd have to ace it, and my goodness, with no time, no damage left to inflict, he's just going to look to keep hold of his Kevlar.
You just don't kill him here at this point. You want to just drain his money, stifle his play going forward. We know he's the AWP, but that's no cash going into his bank account at all, so he doesn't even get the $1,900 loss bonus. He did get another frag, though, so it's not all lost, I suppose. Like you said, he still has armor. He got $1,000 total after finding, I think, 3 frags. So he's still got $900, Alex. So not the worst case scenario, but certainly not the best. Didn't get the bomb down, so they'll be looking to purchase up in the 3rd round here. But maybe Kenny wants to invest in a P250. Just going to send the USB for now and the Kevlar. So sending 5 players towards B. You can see Astralis preparing for the next round. They've got themselves 2 FAMASs and a UMP, which operates very much like a rifle these days.
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Very powerful.
Objective for Astralis now, keep all 5 players alive if possible. G2, get the bomb down if there's any sort of access points, and this could be one towards shorts. They're going to dink in at least towards device.
Yeah, and he's still standing his ground. In fact, gets himself another one. The Glocks from G2 aren't going to be able to do too much here. A bit of damage again inflicted, but coming hunting in to collect is Magisk and Dupree. In unison, they collect another $600 apiece, and it's lovely work from Device to start things off. He goes for an aggressive angle. He knows he's able to do so due to the 2nd round eco. And by getting that information so early, he can frag out with that brand new FAMAS. Worth mentioning, probably going to be seeing more of that as players get comfortable with it.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a Kenny S scout. Can't get the rifle out due to his lack of cash. But still, it's Dust2. It's Sniper's Paradise. We'll see if he can inflict any damage as they cross over there. Nothing done. And it's going to be 3 towards B for Astralis. It's going to be Dupree and Zipex there. So they might be probing a little bit more active at the start of the round, considering they have the MP9s. Could go for a flash push towards up. Let's see if they can trade out a kill, get a rifle. And one of the hands of the players like Magisk, Dupree, Glaive still have the SMGs and a faster default here from G2, knowing they've got greater firepower than their opposition. Smoke down towards Xbox, haven't really granted access towards short here. Just trying to remove vision from the middle position.
Smokes will start to fade, and so perhaps their first steps of aggression. In fact, I can actually see a bit of an inquisitive Glaive, considering his options here. If he gets himself into that corner, he's deadly for a late arrival from potentially Nexa, who currently lingers. He now has the huge shadow advantage. Despite the UMP, that could be enough to give a first blood to Astralis should he continue. Bomb, however, is committing to short.
It is a problem with CSGO. You can't see your own shadow, and this is exactly why you want to be aware that you're giving away a huge advantage at that point. It's going to be the first pick for Glaive as Device. He'll be buying time towards the A bomb site here, dropping the smoke, and the MP9 comes out on top towards the mid doors as well. So 5 versus 3, still a chance here for G2 considering the bomb's being planted, but their chances are being eradicated by the second, picked off one by one. They've got to plant short. A single frag, I think, is all they're going to find at this stage. The rotations are coming through, and Astralis with a massive bonus round victory there. MP9s a UMP, and only one player going down.
Not even that. Device, he's dropping that smoke and then eventually gets to play around it. Hunter, he had to acknowledge that there was other opportunities, other angles he had to check, and just playing around it, not only safe from Molotovs, but a fantastic performance from Device just to buy some time. Alongside Magisk, of course, 3 kills from him. He gets a whole lot of the credit by catching that early kill middle. You'll see it here. This is a Krieg in his hands. Amanek has that stolen from him, and then Magisk gets another 2 on the way out of that round. So 3-0, they do seal and extend their lead, and now, interestingly enough, it's going to be a bit of a messy one for coming into the 4th. I'm seeing some SMGs. Amanek with his signature weapon.
That's true.
The Amanek 10.
He is a keen MAC-10 user, that's for sure, but he's up against a little bit stronger firepower, I suppose.
3 AKs and a Krieg on a CT
the
side.
Krieg and the AWP are Device. The money's still strong, but the first kill does go in favor of G2 here. Dupree dropped towards BOB. They might be able to find Device as well. He's going to struggle just to get one more here. Went toward the quick scope, doesn't connect, and now Majus has to be a little bit more combative than usual. He knows he's going to be pincered from all segments of the map here, as he does fend them off all now. It's going to be a 3 versus 3. And in terms of weapons recovered, Jax has the AWP. They have 1 flashbang, but they know they've given away the AWP now. So you'd assume they will hold up in crossfires and wait for G2 to commit. Glaive taking matters into his own hands. He has got short control, looking for information here, and he's going for a bit of a backstab. Going to make his way up towards long. Zipex, so deadly in this car position. They don't have anything to flush him out either.
Maybe Amanek, maybe with a MAC-10. No, good damage though, and they do finish it off. That's something, but the flank from Glaive, that is their golden ticket to 4-0. And from behind he strikes, gets Jax easy onto Nexa, and another round on the board for the Danes. It's a brutal timing from Glaive, but he gets so much information, and Astralis, they're never afraid to go for those pushes, especially they always seem so calculated, and they almost always pay off.
Yeah. Nice calculated risk there, that's for sure. Astralis with the 4-0 start, a double orb set up as well. Dupree is fantastic with the sniper, so watch out for him joining the responsibilities with Device. Speaking of which, this is the opening frag. That's about all he got though, is painted into a corner, as we have another buy available, and Kenny S finally on the AWP as well, going into round number 5. Amanek just trying to bait out the utility towards B, successfully doing so. A little bit more proactive at the start of the round. You can see 2 players towards lower. A bit more conviction behind their setup. Maybe you're going to try and get some fast, short control. We haven't seen a mid-split just yet. Just going to slow things down, see whether Kenny can actually open things up, holding towards top and middle with the AWP, and the bomb on his back.
Into middle they go. Amanek falls. Similar to that of last round. Will be forced to watch then, as they still yet to find a frag. 0 and 5 now. As the advantage is once again given, or rather I should say taken, by Astralis. Exchanging some Molotovs and pulling a bit of additional utility out of the CTs. There is still just the single smoke grenade on Dupree.
Bear in mind as well, this is the pick of G2. T-side start. Already not ideal at this stage. 5 on 4, 45 seconds, and trying to throw a member in towards the A side. It's going to be Jax who gets down towards Spawn. They're actually going to commit off this one as well. There's a couple of missed shots coming in from the AWP, but Glaive making up for it, plugging the holes, making sure everything's absolutely okay. We've got Nexa on the flank towards long, but it looks like Zipex has got his number, and he'll be able to take him down. No problem at all. Nice positioning there. Bomb's gone down in a nightmare position. That's towards CT. 20 seconds remain. Jax can only really challenge the best of his ability there, Alex, and leaving it Kenny S in an impossible spot. It's going to be 5-0. So far, no good for G2. Haven't really made a dent whatsoever.
And what's so interesting, and I will echo what the desk has already highlighted, that G2, you know, their CT side is where they've had some of their woes, but especially on not only their map pick Dust2, but on their T side, we've seen double digits. We've seen 12, 13s. It's a very powerful tool in their arsenal at the moment. It's looking like a floppy, soggy noodle when they try and slap Astralis with it.
Yeah, going towards long there, they're trying to go for the big backstab, but it seems like Astralis have a firm understanding of their play, their tendencies, trying to commit towards the A split. They're dropping down. They didn't have a full array of utility to make it happy. You can see the smoke was down to CT spawn. A couple of flashes go over. This is where it all starts to go wrong, though. Where's the flash here? That's a complete dry peek towards middle. Lose the first player, forces him towards A, and then at that point it's easy pickings for the Danes. Lovely shot there from Device. We go 5-0, and even with the maximum loss bonus, they've barely got a bomb plan down, so it's going to be more of the same MAC-10s and Deagles, and they'll send 4 players towards the long side of the map for now. Hunter alone in towards tunnels, and Glaive, He's actually managed to make his way in towards lower once again. Now, this hasn't worked out too well for the CT so far, but it's worked out quite nicely as Hunter is dropped within the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, so Astralis, now they're getting that little additional bit of confidence, wind beneath their wings. They are flying into some early CT aggressive maneuvers, and Glaive, he's not stopping there. He's actually clearing out all of T-Spawn. They'll have the info that it is going to be a long commitment, and Amanek holding W as he charges with his SMG. Wants to get close quarters, but Device is having none of it. Not going to necessarily get away, though. Nexus pistol did manage to silence him, but the AWPing is the least of their worries. From behind, Zipnix has, alongside with Glaive, got themselves locked in, and it is just Jax with 2 HP. So this will be 6 now for Astralis, and perhaps a heroic deagle shot for some degree of consolation. Won't even be given that. Magisk on the hunt, does convert, and they are starting to build such a bank here,
Yes.
Hank. They had 4 still standing into that one. They have still got that Krieg from round 2.
They absolutely have. That's true. They've got the double orb set up. The Kriegs are out. And even after reinvestment of grenades, we've still got some players hovering around $9,000. That's Magus with the Krieg in hand. And all the bells and whistles to go with it. Great stuff there from Device. 6-0. G2. He's still waking up here. What's the play going to be? Orb shot rattled off towards the middle doors. 3 towards long for the CT to start to push back any decent spawns on the T side. Haven't seen many of those, to be fair, just yet. And another default continues here. Wants to play going to be, like I always say, Alex, when things start to go always wrong, it's just maybe the mid-split is the way to go. You get those 2 smokes down towards CT, bit of basic mid-control, apply pressure from upper, which is what they're trying to do right now, but it's the Krieg that's ready and waiting on the other side. That incendiary might commit another, which it does. Next to hitting the shop. Yeah,
maybe this could be a way into the site. So hard to retake. Dupree realizing he wants to try and catch them on the cross, and Jackson, important fight won. Zipnix does get shut down. Wasn't ready for the Dupree to go hunting, and back and forth we go this time. And for the first time here on Dust2, in favor of the French. Can't call them the French nowadays, of course, ever since their new rendition going international. Nexter and Hunter joining the roster, and Device thrust into a 1 versus 3, likely going to get caught. Oh, actually catching a glimpse of Kenny on the cross to Xbox. That makes it a little more manageable, but still should be impossible. And AWP retake 1v2. They know exactly where he's coming from. A deagle shot. He's clearing the corner, and Hunter, thank God, does manage to find it for G2, but Device, he's keeping them on the edge of their seat.
Yeah, he's kept them very honest in that round. There's a 3 versus 1. Looked like he didn't even have a look into the situation. Manages to get a great shot towards middle after spotting the kneecap there towards Xbox. Then the 1D preemptive shot there through the double doors. And he had no chance of winning it at that point, but he certainly made things very expensive indeed. And that's indicative going forward because we've got a Mac 10 for Amanek. They've recovered the AWP, but this is going to be a difficult round to pick up. It's going to be a full buy from Astralis, but it has cost them almost all of their cash here as we get into another double AWP situation for them. Long take looking likely. 3 players outside that position right now. Kenny is setting up the flashbang. Device looking towards the mid gap right now. We're flashed off. That's more like it. You can't let him have full control towards middle. Otherwise, he will punish every single time. Long take, as we said. Already a smoke towards the corner. Flash over and try and get out together.
Held at bay. That smoke's going to arrive just as G2 were considering a push. Will it just be... It's going to be enough to shave the time off, Henry. That's 15 seconds, just completely cut from the clock with the power of $300.
Couldn't have thrown that at a better time, you know, just as they're getting ready. Everyone's with the flashes in their hands, the guns are there, making the plan, and now you have no idea what's on the other side. You have to use more utility now just to clear your corners.
And the more time that passes, speaking of clearing your corner, by the way, Glaive, I don't think he could be in a better. Now Zipnix arrives in the perfect moment to start baiting them in, looking to draw their attention. They check it and get the frag. Zipnix was forced off by a flash. That's perfect. G2 now have long control, and 40 seconds. Look, to continue to press the issue was Jax. Bit of a duel going back and forth, but Dupree on that AWP. That's scary. Not anymore. Hunter relieves the fear, and now Hunter can swing on as well. Hard shots for Device to hit, and he won't be able to find the first. They're not given a chance for a second. It's all Hunter. 3 quick frags coming in from short.
Classic A-pincer maneuver there from G2. That's much more like it. Didn't go for the long rush at the very start, but the long retake, trying to take it back from the CTs there towards the end of the round. Managing to get a decent trade at the start there. Looked like Zipex had enough decent positioning to actually bait in Glaive there at that point, but they checked their corners effectively, as we mentioned. And Device, he hits a couple of decent kills, or Dupree, I should say. But Hunter coming in, applying that pressure from short. Exactly what you want to see. And we will have Astralis down to just the Desert Eagles now. 4 of those at USP, a couple of HEs at the start to stop the long push. But this should be where G2 can start to sink their teeth into this first half. 6-3, almost a certainty.
Almost.
Yeah, it depends. The deadly D deagles of the Danes.
Deadly Danish deagles. Watch out for those. Yep, you're absolutely right. And alliteration is fun. But Glaive, he certainly has not been averse to a bit of a push so far here on Dust2, and this time punished immediately. Kenny, restraint to start things off. They do not want to be caught off by any aggressive maneuvers from the underbought Astralis. Patience potentially prevailing again for Kenny there. There's Dupree responsible for middle in conjunction with Device. We talk about the power of the B-bomb site, Henry, and I'm wondering whether or not that's something that G2 are going to start to perhaps trying to figure out. Unfortunately, though, that one time they tried, Magis just reminded them why B is scary against Astralis.
Yeah, it certainly is a vulnerability. In the current meta, the Krieg just seems to be able to out-duel most AWPers at the back of the site. It all comes down to timings, really. It's a little bit scrappy toward that side of the map, but it does find great success for the Ts, that's for sure. For now, though, 5 players making their way out of the long doors. Just going to try and approach the situation with power in numbers. They'll smoke the crossover twice from this spot, making sure the pit is clear. Kenny has confirms that. And once they make their way towards the site, smokes are down. Should be no way that Astralis can get a look into this once that bomb's planted, they won't even get close. Even though the smoke's a little bit lackluster there, it's not a huge deal. You know, up against pistols. So bomb to go down, Jax to find yet another frag. There'll be a 5-on-3, and Magisk and Zipex trying to battle back the best they can from short to CT spawn. Device won't find anything here. So you don't need to go hunting at all, Alex. They've got deagles, you've confirmed that. You're the only ones with weapons to lose here. So sure, take a little bit of aggression. This is about as much as you want to see. You don't want to be going towards middle if you're Jax right now, because you'll be the one who can give up an AK.
Hard work done. He's considering it, but I think that you're right. Just there's a degree of restraint to his hunt. Just wants to clear out the CT spawn, and so will be scarpering, and they'll keep hold of all of their weapons. Yeah,
he's got like $300 to gain there, or about 5K to lose. So not the best.
Well, we talk about playing the percentages, the numbers game, and all that. And there's another for Kenny S as he anticipates a last-ditch effort from Astralis to try and take weapons away. Nothing going to connect for them though, and this is important. G2 going to try and make a bit of a series out of this one for us. As it goes 6-3, they do manage to get themselves 3 back-to-back. Now it's time for Astralis to once again step into the ring.
Yeah, good to see Kenny landing some shots now, starting to get the numbers up there. Currently sat on 8 and 6. At the very top of the G2 scoreboard. At the bottom is Amanek 0 and 7. Need to see him come online with that Mac 10, hopefully. For now, though, he's got the M4A4, taking that from the previous round. He's going to be smoking towards middle. And they've got 3, making 4 players in the B tunnels. This will be the B split we've kind of been looking for, I would say. Maybe using the contact play towards the tunnel area, knowing that they're not fully equipped. They probably don't have the AWPs right. So you've got a good chance of trading out kills and hopefully flashing one of them and then challenging a single player on towards the side. Good nade, though. Next, lands in his pocket. He's down to 52.
Oh, and there's such a support structure on B for this round. Astralis have got 3 there. The flash is good. Dupree and Magisk, though, they can work in unison, taking it in turns to get it all done. Just 2 remain. Kenny hoping he can get away with this one, just trying to deal with the aggression. He can't even retrieve the bomb. Jax, he was the lurk. He was supposed to be able to profit from his teammate's entrance into the site. Instead, now finding himself wondering where it all went wrong.
Yeah, it's gone very wrong, hasn't it? The M4A4 is actually delivering all the goods there. A brilliant setup. I feel like they read their vulnerabilities going into that round, knowing they didn't have the incendiaries or the AWPs. They're probably going to try and punish that B side of the map. So they had Device actually watching the mid area for them from outside the B bomb site. It's obviously there as well. It can be proactive, provide support flashbangs. And as soon as Dupree gives the call, they're just working off each other. First kill at the back of the site, he hides. Dupree then swings out, and then they can apply pressure, pushing forward with grenades, getting that bomb down. And it's a big round for them to pick up, considering they didn't really have a whole lot going into it. Now a couple of AKs, got the AWP back out in the hands of Device as well. Everything back in working order.
Aggressive from Kenny, loving that. However, Device just using the edge of the smoke and punished on the cross back. That's better. Keeps the advantage in favor of G2, at least technically. Certainly in the form Astralis are currently displaying, I would argue perhaps we've got ourselves a bit of a level stead. Always seem to be one step ahead of it. We'll leave Magisk to his own devices down towards long this time, keeping things a bit dynamic. Dupree's been given the B responsibilities for now, and the rotate will be responsible for him, because in they go. A little bit quicker, a little bit more flair to this one. G2 starting to charge up short. The flashes aren't great. Glaive will have a line of sight. Nose one's towards Gandalf, and actually that nade could do some significant damage. Just chunk him down. Still no bodies dropped, though, and this suppressing fire finally does connect. It's Magisk stopping Hunter from getting that bomb across. Nexa, however, will make up for his teammate's shortcomings.
Dupree rotating in, and that means Magisk will have to sit back and wait. Dupree with the AWP, I think they might be better off saving at this point. If Magisk had 100 HP and maybe some grenades, they could go for this one. Dupree can throw an incendiary towards short and just have a little probe there, but I don't think it's worth giving up the orb. The loss bonus just isn't really there for them. So they are going to save. It was a decent attempt there, but the A bomb side working out quite nicely now for G2. Those executions, synonymous with French teams usually, working out very nicely indeed. It's going to be Kenny S with 2 key frags. And now Dupree looking for the exits. Got a nice lineup for the first. Great stuff.
Yeah, he was so cognizant of it, and actually good chance from Amanek to try and find, I believe it was going to be his second kill. Did draw blood in that round and contribute. Dupree will preserve.
Next up, he managed to grab the AWP from short, just to know that. So there we go. So it's back and forth rounds here with 7-4 overall on the CT side of Dust2. This is the pick of G2, remember. Dupree, device, snipers in hand. Kenny S still with a full buy here. So this is a very important round. Both teams financially broken and clear as to who will be taking this one. Incendiary to the top. Just to sow the seeds of doubt in their minds. Will they be towards lower? Will they be pushing off short? No one's sure right now. Dupree holding towards the B bomb side with the AWP. Jax all the way in T-spawn at the bomb. So waiting for aggression here. You can see they have a very defensive game at the start on the T side.
Very, very defensive. And I mean, understandably, because the precedent has been set for CT aggression. And well, here's another example of it. Glaive, just as the flame fades, he fills that void with himself. He'll be tucking himself into the corner. The power of that shadow, we discussed it earlier. Him and Nexa. I think Nex has certainly found his nemesis so far. It has been Glaive, Zipex as well, who's been doing a fantastic job on long as a secondary support should they come there now. Towards short they go, and just as they consider it, utility has thrown down their throats. Hunter and Jax cut down to about half. Hunter a little healthier, but Bomb is still very much just at the top of middle. 50 seconds, G2, they've managed to tooth and nail their way some short control. Long still a completely unknown entity though, and Glaives, he's just standing his ground. They have to eventually clear this if they want to pincer.
Well, enables Zipex and Device really to focus their efforts towards the short position. Glaive still comfortable there as well. Are they going to smoke in the long doors with Glaive there? That would be sick. I don't think they're going to. I felt like the smoke's too valuable elsewhere. Amanek does try to creep up towards short. He's got decent ground here. Vision taken away, and now this could actually be a little bit tricky for them. You can see the backset coming in from Glaive. Nexa ready for it, and that's going to be their cue to go.
Yeah, that was the bomb carrier as well, so that duel has essentially given them a shot at this round. It's not over yet, though. Zipex still standing on the side with 10 seconds. All he has to do is deny. They babysit perfectly. Just the leftover Dupree on the other side of the map. And so G2 find 5th here on their T side. Their map pick, and it's important. This has to be a close first half if they want to contest in the second, considering some of their CT-sided woes in their current developmental stages as a team. Communication was a hot topic on the desk as well when G2 are here, and I think Malik's interview with Banks did help us get a little bit of an understanding of where they're at, saying that the Counter-Strike language is there, but it's those chaotic mid-rounds. You know, when you have to communicate something effectively, quickly, and time is of the essence. A round like that, for example, where you had 18 seconds and your bomb carrier was still on short taking a duel. Yeah,
I'm almost certain if you're like a 2-on-2 situation and 2 of the French boys are still alive, they're going to be speaking French. You know, it's just more natural. Like it's just one of those things, and it does take a lot of time. But I'm sure that they're going to get better and better as time goes on. It's a promising project. Actually, it's the most hopeful I've been for G2 for a while. As we get into an eco situation here for Astralis, Deagles, P250s, no armor, no nades, and a bit of a 5-man stack towards middle, Device towards short. The rest of them around those mid doors. They don't have a flashbang to really pounce on the opportunity, but they're waiting for a mistake and over commitment here. Potentially get a rifle, then fall back. So they're allowing long to be clear at this point. You always got to take a bit of a gamble in these sort of rounds. Minimal damage there inflicted towards Magisk as he was sat behind the mid doors, but a sound cue given off nonetheless.
So they've just left Hunter to be responsible for any of that early B aggression.
Yeah. Well, we know that's prevalent on Dust2. That's where the CTs will try and get a pick back, knowing that there's only one player usually holding that position. If you can get that kill, get a rifle, make it a T-spawn and push them in towards A. But none of that happening this time.
Yeah, Device, however, going for somewhat of a flank. If the timing's right, Hunter could be knife out here. It's unlikely. He's a pro, but never mind. Device just looks oh so good as he plucks Hunt up from the back lines and the rotate is coming in. Look at that swarm of blue now heading towards the A site.
He's locked him in and he knows it as well. He can't necessarily get the AK right away, but he's certainly rotating to do that. And at this point, G2 are in trouble because they know Device will be coming in the rear eventually, so they have to watch the long doors. But he's actually going to think, you know what, let's go join the boys up towards shore. G2 trying to get that very quickly indeed. Jax with some lovely clinical headshots there, but the boost, it's shut down. And so is this situation. Looked like it was getting a bit out of hand at one point, but Device, he won't be able to deny the plants. 4 versus 2. He's the only one that can really cause damage here, and they're being very disciplined. They're not giving him any opportunities whatsoever. So this looks good for G2, even after losing that first pick.
Yeah, and had they just gone for one inquisitive little peek, one jiggle from Goose, this could have spiraled. But G2, they display restraint, and it is rewarded. Device, speaking of rewards, he wants to keep hold of this Krieg. Take one away. Well, not going to happen. Instead, no bullets onto Jax, despite his low HP, down to 8, but still fighting, and does manage to remove that weapon from the CT arsenal for the remainder of this half.
Well, this is where G2 might start feeling themselves a little bit more. I can spot a couple of cheeky long spawns available there for Jax especially. I think Amanek can join him as well, so they might be tempted to give the AWP over to that player and see where they can open things up. Haven't really gone for any very aggressive long approaches so far, but it's a tactical timeout called by Astralis this time, so you know they're going to be reforming and trying to work out how they can actually counter these rounds that are going against them. To be fair, it's been lots of slow defaults into A executions, which are designed to shut down AWPers, and they're running a double AWP setup with Dupree and Device there, and they're getting very close towards the A side before any shots are even fired off. That was Device getting the first pick. It looked like there was a chance there, funneling them in towards A, but Jax very, very impressive with his approach here. 3 nice headshots, and we get into round number 14. Got a quick first half here, and another compromised buy for Astralis with no defuse kits. 4 players without helmets. Luckily, Amanek's got a rifle this time as they send 3 towards the B tunnels here with the bomb. Next to the only player towards the middle. So we saw this work out for them before, so they could just be tempted just to walk straight in towards B again. I think that's the play. Magisk is alone with just an incendiary and now an HE, but he's timed it so well again.
Oh, and the nade does another 100 damage, but this time it's traded. Magisk not going to find the multi-kill here, but he could have softened them up for Dupree, who is the first to arrive in return. Swinging up ahead of the smoke, this pre-fire is not going to be rewarded at all. In fact, he's been caught. Jax shuts him down. G2 are playing hide and seek. Now it's time for the latter. Keep those CTs at bay while that bomb can go down. Jax will be punching in the digits. Amanek's low. Kenny to support with his AWP. He's got himself in platform. And another nade, this time converted. Astralis, they don't even need to throw their bullets for this retake. They're all doing it with the shrapnel.
Yeah, and that gives away the bomb's location as well. They know that's where the C4 is going to be. So you can take an educated guess as to what setup they're going to be using at this stage. Kenny S in a nice spot here. Spots one towards the tunnels but misses the shot. Smoke going to block his vision now. He's going to be Molotov into the corner, but the flames aren't quite reaching him. Means he can still really cause some damage here, but can he find the shots required? Needs to nail that one, Alex. Not going to happen. Astralis, remember, no kits. Have they even got this one?
It's tight.
They haven't got it. There it is. It's going to be G2 picking up the round. Trying to punish that B bomb site, knowing the money's weak on that side of the map. It's actually a pretty solid hold from Majors to hold things off there because he had, what, a solo anchor play towards the B site. Did about 150 damage, got himself a kill. Pretty much all he could ever do in that situation, but overwhelming. Once that bomb gets planted, especially with no kits, it's always going to be such a difficult procedure to get back into that round. Astralis, normally the masters are falling back, knowing when they have to cut their losses, but still they managed to make the kills. But if that incendiary had got, what, half a meter deep at the back there, it would have flushed Kenny out. They might have had a chance to get the full defuse. He was just holding on for dear life there at the back. Yeah,
survival though from Kenny. Absolutely fantastic, just to keep his heart beating long enough to rock that clock. Device had to go hunting. Smoke will be pushed through, and dealt with. Glaive, no issues finding 2. He's actually switching to the USB. No time for a fresh mag, and he gets another with the silenced pistol. Ridiculous. But as the dust does settle here on Dust, you see Nexa and Kenny have got somewhat of an opportunity to reconfigure. Dupree could be the fly in the ointment here for the final round of this best of 3's first half. Nexa's playing the waiting game, conscious that the flank could be coming in, much more thinking through middle, which is exactly where Magisk is responsible for. And they couldn't be more locked in.
Yeah, it's the last round. There's no saving here. They do have smokes, flashbangs, and a Molotov, but no real positional control to speak of whatsoever. Kenny sending up a smoke for CT spawn and throw that over. and just hope for the best at this point. Doesn't really do much for them. Is it going to bait out reaction? Will someone push from T-spawn? That's what Nex is looking for. But Dupree, more than happy to just lock them in. You've got Majors top middle, looking for the retreat there. Anyone going to T-spawn towards B? Dupree's got that covered, and Device more than happy with the AWP on long, just to take off a shot, hopefully get a kill, and fall back. He won't be over-committing to this one. His presence alone with a shot is enough just to hold them back, and he does nail it. Bomb goes down. Dupree, not sure that push was required, but still, in he goes, and it's a 2 versus 1 now.
Does manage to get Device to fire off a shot that gives him a chance at least to get some utility out. The Molotov will be something, and with 13 seconds left, Next is going to have to get a wiggle on. It's unlikely he's going to be able to get across this one safely. The bullets do come through. A hard shot to hit. Gave it a good go, and actually may have had time to try and get that bomb down, albeit under the pressure and scrutiny of Device had he gone for it. That's going to be an 8-7 half. G2, they stabilize, admittedly, but coming into a CT side our analysts have put into question. Join us when we return.
Dreaming big and aiming high. Name the clouds passing by. Wishing we run away. All we need is our passports, baby. Leave the rest in our troubled minds. Let us go down in laughter, baby. Trying to figure out what we're after. We're never heading back until we're older. We couldn't care no more, not any longer. Under peach yellow skies, we keep on searching, but we will never know what we're after. Baby, leave it all for the faded hearts. I don't mind if they call us crazy, 'cause they don't understand what we're after. We're never heading back until we're older. We couldn't care no more, not any longer. Under peach yellow skies, we keep on searching, but we will never know what we're after. As long as you're mine, I wanna run away. We're never heading back until we're older. We couldn't care no more, not any longer. Under peach yellow skies, we keep on searching, but we will never know what we're after.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dust2 is the first map of this best of 3 between Astralis and G2 Esports. If playing the Counter-Strike has been exciting you, well, you can jump into ESEA free between the 6th to the 10th. You can go to esea.net/register and give it a go. Absolutely free. There's nothing that Henry doesn't love more. You're a fan of free.
I love free things. It's my absolute favorite in the world. And
Is this a free win then?
It might not be a free win. It looked to be the case when it was a 6-0 start there for Astralis, but like you mentioned, G2 coming online towards the end is the reason they picked this map, and they're looking to cause damage down towards the T-spawn position. Kenny S aggressive as they push up there. Dupree has heard everything though. He could go for the swing, only got the Glock in tandem though. We'll see whether he can actually do some damage here in the back, but it's Glaive losing the bomb and T-spawn. This is a nightmare for Astralis. They've lost absolutely everything. The map control, the bomb, and all the frags as well. How has this happened so quickly?
Yeah, this is an unusual way to get things started, G2. Charging down middle. This is one of those strategies that the Russians shout at me in matchmaking, and I say no.
I want to say
rush mid right now.
Hold short, and I want to miss a shot and die. That's all I want to do. That's what I normally do. It's worked so far.
That's my strategy. You guys can run up middle, but it certainly worked for G2, taking that fight early. Dupree, however, a bit of resistance at the top of middle. Can't find a bullet on him. My goodness. So much lead thrown in his direction, but he still stands tall, down just to 24 now. A matter of time, as it doesn't seem far off. Chipping away at Jax. 4 players still standing for G2, and admittedly, 2 of them not far off from just a one-shot kill. Bomb, however, is at T-spawn, and eventually Hunter, after his teammates were dragging the attention towards middle, was able to finish things off. And so the perfect start for G2's second half campaign.
Yeah, it's great to see those kills come in towards T-spawn all the way from the double doors. Doesn't happen too often, but Kenny S didn't miss a beat there. No bomb planted for Astralis, not really much found at all, so presumably the full eco here. Do have 1 Desert Eagle for Dupree. That's about all I have to report. No armor, no nades, AKs in the next round, and you can see that G2 are preparing for that. This is what you like to see, Alex. You got themselves 3 FAMASs, an M4, no SMG nonsense here, making sure they have the firepower to deal with the next round. They'll take a sacrifice of utility in number 2 here.
Does seem to be fast becoming the decision most players have been going for. Still occasionally seeing a few too many SMGs and teams being punished for it. It is a preference thing. And an early smoke deployed by G2. It's more where that came from. In fact, another 2 in play for them. But we talked about these utility sacrifices in a perfect line held by Amanek. Very hard to find a response with an angle held like that.
Yeah. When you've got Glocks around you as well, not really much can be done. Trying to find any wiggle room they can on Dust2 here, but one by one they are taken down. G2 looking to take the lead for the first time here as they confirm their victory, and Glaive will be dropped. Finally, clean sweep there for G2. They've got a really strong stance going forward. They came into this with a heavy rifle focus. Now they can have the incendiaries, defuse kits, 1 MP9 sure, but that's Kenny S, and he wants to build up the money as much as possible. So even a couple of kills with that weapon, it would yield a massive amount of cash, allow him to bring out the orb early going forward. So this is a bit of a bonus stance now, but a strong one from G2. Normally you'd see a couple of SMGs into the mix here, but the new changes to the FAMAS seems to be a very popular weapon right now, and we'll see whether it can actually deliver the goods here. As damage, of course, inflicted across 3 Kriegs. There's battling down there from T-spawn. Kenny S gets tagged. Just a 68, but still a nuisance, and Dupree looking to gain access towards middle.
Yeah, I mean, he's feeling himself. I think he's just going to keep crawling. Does get himself tucked all the way into the corner of the CT side of doors, and he can really be a powerful catalyst in some sort of pincer, but thinking better of it as his teammates now start to join him. Deep smoke from the CTs on long. That is going to stop Zipex from any sort of funny business early in the battle for that long control. Interesting repositioning actually coming out from G2 here. They're going to try and boost Hunter into that perfect spot to see above the mid to B smoke.
Yeah, very powerful for that. Common pre-fire, but you can crouch and avoid most of the grenades. Good for 1 kill, dropping down. It's got to time it well. Will they go into the B split though? Dupree's mid-control suggests they might do. It looks like a bit of a bait to me right now. We'll have a look. A couple of players making their way up towards middle, but look at the bomb. That's actually heading towards long here. So they're going to try and suggest this is a B play. We talked about Hunter's position here, boosted up in CT. He will get vision of Dupree if he crosses towards the window, but Hunter holds strong, trying to avoid the grenades here. He's got a guaranteed kill pretty much on Dupree. If the smoke goes down, we'll see where this works out. But Dupree tucking himself behind the van. There's the frag, and the pre-fire comes in. Back into the B split now. Kenny S did push in towards upper B, but it's only the MP9 he has in his hand. He does upgrade to the AK-47, but they know exactly where he is. And Zipex is making sure he can't cause any further damage.
Oh,
well, maybe he can.
Perfect from Kenny. He's making this round look solid. He started with an MP9 solo holding B, and through a variety of different maneuvers, now they have the advantage for perhaps not much longer though. Damage inflicted towards neck Nexa. Device looking to hold the doors, and he can't manage it. Now silenced, all onto Glaive. Half health, 3 to push in, a hard transfer. And he does do significant damage, but it's Kenny S to get the cherry on top. That was his round. He was responsible for B. It was a B hit, and it may not have looked like the most default of defenses,
sure,
but it worked well.
Well, it's all about reactive play on Dust2. On the CT side, when you know your defense has been compromised and the mid-split is initiated, especially if they have players through the doors already, they're smoking towards CT spawn, and Dupree's found this kill. Kenny's on an MP9, right? He can't just hold the bomb site. He needs to react. He pushes him towards upper B, and somehow they weren't ready for him. And I can't believe he was actually having the preemptive mindset to see Zipex peeking for that position. Ideally, Zipex waits for the bomb to go down, knowing his teammates can cover towards tunnels, then he swings on that one. That would have pretty much guaranteed things, but that's obviously 2020 hindsight. But then we go into the next round, 10-8 for G2. Jax, Nexa, and Kenny looking to fend off this long approach here. Glaze makes his way out, only got the pistol though, he's dealt with. And that's quite comfortable, to be honest with you. It hasn't cost them too much, haven't taken any damage, and they've confirmed they're on an eco. So, already some partial buy. Likely
going to be committing towards this one. At least they were throwing their utility, their limited flashes towards the A site. That is indicative of commitment. Smoke for them to play around. Of course, it's somewhat of a one-way, so you'll be cautious as to where you position yourself towards the lower side of a ramp. Kenny S just going to have a shooting gallery now. As they cross, they won't be able to contest. They do just have those Desert Eagles. You can play the passive line, drawing their attention towards him. Swinging into Nexa. Device does get a way in. Perhaps the bomb can go down. A tag onto Magis. That's not going to stop him from getting the bomb in. With the bullet still lodged in his shoulder blade, he does manage to get at least 800 bucks a piece, even if this round goes awry.
Yeah, it looks like Astralis will be happy with this one. There's no way they're going to win it, but they got themselves a kill. They got the bomb planted. It's about as good as it's ever going to get. Zipex might be able to get a one constellation frag, but with the gap in the smoke, we'll see what can happen here. He's just looking for anyone crossing over towards those baskets, but Jax ready and waiting, takes him down, gets his third kill of the round there. Well held by G2. They haven't really blinked at all here in this second half as they go up 4-0, 11-8 overall. It's the reason why they picked this map, and he said that CT side had question marks around it, but so far so good. That aggressive pistol has given them enough momentum to really start challenging on this map. They've got a nice reservoir of cash going forward as well. Kenny S bringing out the AWP, an AUG for Hunter. Haven't seen too much from him yet, but certainly a star in his own right. I'm sure he's going to start getting it done as this game develops. Round 20 coming up, another tactical timeout call by Astralis. Feeling the pressure right now.
Yeah, it's time to get their thinking caps on. Zonic perhaps to pipe up as well. 2 used already. I do feel like that's always going to be a good sign of how much pressure you've put Astralis under, is how many timeouts they're using.
Especially when you had a 6-0 deficit to kick things off, and then you've still got them sweating.
Now the lead starting to get quite scary, extending. G2, this is going to be one of the toughest battles yet, though. A fully bought up T-side Astralis, even got all of the bells and whistles and decoys. Decoy and an AWP, of course, though, for Device. We'll see what he's going to be up to with that.
Decoy is actually really useful in Dust2 because you can throw that in T-spawn at the very start. If you're going for a B pick like this, they just think the AWP is just challenging. Right. He's firing off shots. He's not going to expect you to actually go towards B. They might actually be tempted to jump on the platform, knowing there's a shot still going off. So Decoy, we don't talk about it too often, but there's a very small idea behind the play. It only costs $50 to bring one of those out.
See so many different nuances in the battle for long doors between these players. Zipnix this time was jumping for the info, trying to draw out some utility, and did so. Instead, in the meantime, it's going to be Kenny S. Actually does connect the bullet through the door. Glaive, he'll be thinking about that one for the rest of this round, down to 23. Bomb starting to lean towards the B site, but so much time still on the clock. It does seem like their investigations are not concrete yet. Or their conclusions, anyway.
This would be a contact B play, but looks the thing's got nothing towards long, nothing sure right now. And Device gets the opener. So that could be the cue to go here. Amanek alone with the M4. He needs a couple of frags here. Kicks it off nicely, takes down Device, and they're going to try and trade this one out now. Knowing it's an M4 waiting on the site, Amanek does swing wide. He does very well to even make this a winnable situation. The damage done towards Glaive, they might be tempted to give this one a go. The bomb's not been planted yet. Still a 3 versus 3. Smoke down for Astralis. They scramble towards the site here. Bomb to be planted by Dupree in the default spot. And Hunter, they've actually got all the utility they really need. They can smoke towards tunnels. They can Molotov towards the platform position. Hunter's lining up the tunnel smoke right now.
Yeah.
That goes in. The flashes will go over. Molotov will be deployed, and that's all they can really do here.
Well, imagine if you get a molly into bricks. Glaive would be burning. That looked like exactly that. He's going to be Burning alive, 8 before he gets his smoke out though, and now that's enough information. They'll know there's one there. Dupree, flash, but not caught just yet. Going back and forth, but Zipnik's all on him with the AWP, reminiscent of that of Kenny S. Eventually traded. Nexa will get the frag and the defuse that will be coming in time. It does have the kit, shaving off that extra 5 seconds on the defuse. 12 to G2 with a successful B retake. Those are words that we don't often utter.
That's just down to the utility there. We spotted it coming up towards the bomb site. They were calculating their approach and made sure they eradicated risk, especially towards the tunnels. That's where you can find most of the danger there. The Molotov towards the platform and the sandboxes as well. Really strong stuff from G2 here. Another perfect round as we head to number 21 here. The maximum loss bonus helping out Astralis with the bomb being planted, and it's Dupree with the long AWP spawns. We'll be taking that at the very start. When all else fails, try a long pick. And it's Mages through the mid doors. That works out pretty nicely as well. Alex, get a kill with the Krieg through the middle doors. That's always going to feel very good indeed.
What an advantage to take. There's nothing Amanek can do about that. Simply by wanting to defend B, he has been caught off. And we get to see that again. Lovely work from replays there. Just tapping away in the mid doors. His 14th death. Amanek has managed to get himself back into this game. I will remind you, was taking a very slow start. Those 6 rounds Astralis accrued. Amanek had 0 frags throughout that. So now he's on the board, so are G2. This, however, does look like a good spot for Astralis to pick up their first T round.
It looks good, but Kenny S, he is a little bit notorious at the AWP in this certain position, fending off A executions like nobody's business. We'll see if he can do it once again. 1 minute remaining, still most of the smokes and flashes here on the T side, waiting for that reactive play we discussed before. And Kenny trying to take matters into his own hands, trying to get an angle where he can actually take a player down and fall back, but he is exposed. A flash comes over now, he's in a lot of trouble. Decent grenade though. Oh, it does about 100 damage there. Not bad at all. And now he can get himself towards Goose.
Yeah, even more than that. Everyone shaken by that nade. Molly to keep them at bay, and there's another one where that came from. They're going to take so much damage. Oh, God, they're bleeding. All of Astralis limping now towards the A site. 35 seconds, but the frag does go their way. Magisk opens up onto Kenny. Nexa realizing that time and the damage is on his side. He has the support of Jax, and that's the bomb down. Now they're just going to get fed these frags. Dupree with only an AWP. 3 to find. It's another perfect round from G2, and that's with an Astralis early lead.
That was nuts, actually. The fact they got the timings on that one as well. Remember, they lost the first pick as well.
Yeah.
They were gifted a kill at the start. That wasn't really down to skill. Just firing off shots towards the mid doors of a Krieg. You're not necessarily aiming or trying to get anyone sustainable manner. But the fact he gets that opening pick, they go into a default. They get short control. They execute fully. But it was just too telegraphed there. They had no presence elsewhere. They take 2 grenades, which equaled about 200 damage before they even committed there. There was just no chance for them. And it will have to be another eco here, or at least a partial buy for Astralis, with no bomb being planted. So Deagles across the board. Maybe just a quick mid-split here. They've got a smoke for CT spawn. I'm sure they'll drop that momentarily and try and make their way towards B. Not happy with the control they gathered, though. That's going to be a quick kill from Jax. So they're going to try and fall back to an A split. Potentially the bomb's still down at T spawn. I would have liked that faster approach, considering he got the mid-control early there. Glaive does stand in the flames for a second, and Hunter should get himself quite the easy frag here, maybe a couple, and indeed he delivers. 5 on 2, Dupree with a flash, Glaive joining him, but it's looking like round 14 for G2. Remember, they haven't dropped a single round just yet. They're currently 6-0 up, which is looking likely to be 7.
I am so impressed with Jax. He's thriving in this G2 roster, certainly in this best of 3. 26 frags to him. Interestingly enough, with 17 to Kenny's name, he's actually on par with Jax in the ADR department. That just shows he's been chipping away, providing Kenny does take Dupree down. And so it will just be Glaive's Deagle from behind. Jax looking to add a 28th to his tally, and does just that.
Yes, indeed. You can see Kenny S and Nexa. They both have over 200 utility damage as well. I think most of that came from the previous round, to be honest with you, but still, they're doing a great job in that department. Haven't blinked once here on the CT side of Dust2. Money looking decent for them. They can afford to even lose a round at this point as they're knocking on the door of map point. Remember, they lost the pistol. They were down 6-0. We thought, okay, it's just going to be one of those games. Astralis has bulldozed their opponents, and everyone else really gets a look in, but they haven't really posted anything since. G2 got stabilized, looking fantastic right now. Device trying to use that long spawn once again, but he's flashed, taking a bit of damage there as he makes his way over towards the blue bin. Zipex trying to back them up the best he can, but G2 are fine with that. They're going to give them long control, and this is where the reaction will come through. And in Amanek and Hunter, they're going to take tunnels. We talked about this all game long, Alex, and you have to take back real estate on the map if you lose elsewhere.
Glaive, a huge duel, taking initiative, just pushing all the way through doors. Magisk, he's tucked in on the car at T-spawn. If I'm Amanek, that's desk to fist immediately, though. Hunter, by traveling in pairs, does profit, catches Glaive unawares in tons. Best shot Astralis have had Just 3 remain now for the defense, and Jaxie's looking to get a bit flanky. Magisk, however, continues to be somewhat of an issue. He's aware of it, but the timing not going to favor him, and Jax, ooh, actually catching a dink into Magisk. Perhaps that will come back to haunt him. Instead, Kenny keeping things relatively level, 2 versus 3. Still time, but they're considering a cross towards the A ramp, and they have managed to do just that. Spending their utility to stop Kenny from doing, well, that. More damage inflicted. The nade's not quite going to be where it needs to be.
What has happened there? Absolute nuke goes off with the HE department. 35 seconds, still unable to plant the bomb. Mages with 2 kills, and now a 3 versus 1. Kenny just trying to shut this one down if possible. We can deny the plant quickly, that would be enough, but that's now gone down on the A side here. And now they know you've got the AWP towards short. No one has to challenge him. No one has to do anything. He can get 1 kill here, and he still can maintain your crossfires. Kenny knows he probably can't win this one, but he'll give it a good go. Nice positioning from Device there. It's going to give them their first round on the board in the second half there. 14-9. And a couple of players survive.
Was Magisk's positioning? He was like all the way back at T-spawn. His responsibility there was to be kind of aware of the reaction from the B aggression, right? I mean, that's the explanation.
Exactly that. It's such a common call at this point, like for reasons I've stated, especially when you've lost a part of the map that's so key at the start there as well. You're going to be pushing in towards B. So Mages knows they've got a bit of an advantage. He knows they've lost a part of the map. So we'll hold back there in the T-spawn car. You don't see that too often, but with the Krieg, it makes a lot of sense. You wouldn't see anyone there with an AK, for example. It's a pretty new position, I'll be honest with you. The AK wouldn't be effective, but a Krieg in hand, of course, why not? You're always going to have the advantage there. No one's pre-firing that spot, and it yielded him a kill.
Plus, it's all the more quicker to join your team once you get that frag or info. It's quite a luxury. You can be, you're at T-spawn, but already middle, long, not too far away. Stone's throw away. Let's see if Astralis can make more on this T side, or if that is just a flash in the pan as G2 are looking to find their map pick victory. Just 2 rounds separate them from starting this series and getting very competitive with Astralis. This is, of course, the upper bracket game of Group B. Day 2 here, the ESL Pro League Finals of Odense.
Yeah, the upper bracket semi-final, no less. Looking for progression here. Astralis look to be off to a flyer, but right now, G2 in full control of the CT side. It's going to be the long take here. Smoking towards the corner, flashing over, but you see it's a little bit mistimed. It's Dupree trying to bait the shots, and unfortunately just runs in to the meat grinder here. It's going to be the first 3 for G2. No response, no damage, just a perfect crossfire. Astralis, they might be giving up map point early here. What great play this has been from G2. The bomb goes down, rounds over. Mages, he's got absolutely nothing to say about this one. He's taking damage as well somehow with the wallbangs coming through. And that is going to be a very, very clean round. A decent response there from G2. They know exactly where Magisk is, and then don't really want to face him here. Don't want us to challenge. Sure, we'll eventually get the weapon out of his hands and make sure he doesn't get 2 or 3 in the process.
Certainly. Do it neat, do it tidy. And every time you say meat grinder, I just have this image of like Sweeney Todd warming up the machine, you know, ready to make some more pies. I know exactly what you mean, yeah. Make some Astralis pies.
Eels and Astralis pies. Wow.
From behind, 1 tap, all the more satisfying with the silencer on the barrel, and 15-9, G2. This is an incredible turnaround. The context of this best of 3, it's going to get a whole lot more spicy if G2 have proven not only they can win Dust2, but they can do so from overcoming the large 6-round deficit, but doing the majority of the heavy lifting on their defense. I'm sure our analysts are going to be very excited to talk about that. I think Jacob in particular was keeping his eyes on the CT side of G2. Let's see if they can finish it off, though.
I'm impressed with the CD sides, to be honest with you. It's been fantastic as Hunter. He'll be delivering the incendiary at the very start. Another long, fast approach here from Astralis. They've got Galil's, Mac 10s, bare bones utility. Kenny has changing up his position now, trying to find that opening pick towards the Xbox spot. Not going to nail it. That's going to cost him his life. It's a difficult one to land. And at this point, advantage for Astralis in more ways than one. Dupree will get the second pick towards middle. 5-on-3 now. They are struggling with the weaponry, though, so there's still a chance this one could fall apart. In terms of the setup for the CTs now, we have Amanek patrolling middle and B. Not an ideal spot. Might want to take a gamble stack at this stage just to keep everyone alive. He's trying to get his way towards CT spawns. I think that's exactly what's happening.
And I think Nexa picking up that AWP is indicative of it as well. You'll gamble with it, but worst case scenario, at least you're bringing it into the next. Their financial situation is a bit sketchy, but so is that from Device. He caught the flash from Nexa. Jax on the push through, so that's at least something. But with all this information Glaive has just gathered, he is screaming at his teammates, get your booties to B. Won't be any information on that cross. Jax didn't quite enable or was able to cast his eyes over there instead. Is he going to be ready for Glaive? He's acting like it's completely clear and Glaive's going to punish. That's the round. That should be enough for Nexa and Amanek to realize that this one perhaps just looks a little too far gone. Perhaps on the cross he could have a go, and that's enough. Back away. Keep hold of the Orp and the Krieg for a rainy day. dupreeh might have something to say about it, though. Nope, nice and easy. Nexa will find himself one on the way out.
Not really worth the hunt if you're dupreeh, to be honest. If you look at the cash on the Astralis side, they've got nothing. They really do need cash going forward here. You know that the CTs have barely given up any rounds here. I feel like you just need to hold on to your rifles. Like, you will never get to catch them off guard too much. Not a massive deal, but considering the cash flow situation right now, it might cost you a few grenades going forward. You're going to get $3,500 per player for winning the round via explosion, so there's definitely going to be some compromises made. But overall, pretty clean round with 3 players surviving there. Good reaction to make their way back towards B. We saw the gamble stack coming from G2, but that was quickly detected. You know the tendencies, you know who plays where, and as soon as you see certain names on that side of the map, you're like, right, Glaive, make your way towards B. He ran in with conviction, called it was clear. There was a little bit of resistance towards the double doors, but as you mentioned, not ready for it. Glaive already tucking himself towards the site and confirming the round as they get double digits here, 15-10. And now we get the exciting music, Alex. You know what that means. Give us a speech.
Well, G2 overcoming all of the issues that seemed so common in the first half of the first half. From 6-0, overcoming that puts us into a prime position for a G2 run. Take a look at that line of blue. Astralis, they've only found their redemption the 23rd and 25th. You talked about the dupreeh hunt and whether or not that would come back to haunt them. Perhaps not in this one, but the next. It would be, of course, an opportunity for G2 to pick themselves up 16. Couple more match points to go ahead and throw one big jab before Inferno, and if we need it, Train.
Oh, you've given me chills, Alex.
Shut up.
The tension in the room is palpable now. It's all on the line as we get into round number 26. 15-10. Can Astralis hold on?
It's time to find out. Aggressive push. It either ends fast or not. And pushing straight through the flames, Xyp9x will draw blood, but in response, Nexus Flame does lick him down. And continuing aggression is Jax, pressing the issue. May get caught with utility and tagged down so low that the Molotov's going to catch him, I think. No, he's safe for now. We'll have a smoke to play around, but he knows the pressure's likely. And outside of that, the B aggression has gone all the way through. An interesting twist, however, is Device's position. He's already up on the other side of doors. Sound cues could be a factor here. Jax, he's cowering in pit. They know where he is. He's got no health, and Device arrives just when he needs to in order to find 11 for Astralis.
Amanek, though, in T-spawn. Technically got them locked in right now. He's trying to push them towards Jax's position. They need to be very careful. I feel like Astralis have got a firm understanding of what they have to do. They need to focus on this player first, but not if he's hitting shots like that. He's ducking and weaving around the flames here, but eventually taken down. So they know exactly what Amanek is, but he's hightailed it towards short. Smoked out for now. Flashbang goes over. He knows he's got a bit of time here. The flash is actually spot on, but Device with a better position. There'll be another round on the board for the Danes. Money not quite drained yet, but it's getting there. Got 5K on Amanek and Jax. 3 players on around $3,000 though, so it might just be the partial here and allow Astralis to get one step closer to overtime.
I'm still impressed by Jax in that situation. He's got 2 Molotovs thrown on him. One tick of that flame, he goes down.
Yeah.
He then has to find a safe spot between the 2 Molotovs. He's exposed to the player all the way on A as well as that, but still rotting the clock and doing his very best. This now will just be some pistols and a little bit of Kevlar sprinkled around for good measure for G2. See if they can catch an overextension from Astralis. Obviously highly unlikely. Calculated maneuvers. This one, perhaps not so though. Magis just taking a little bit of a risk and it's being rewarded. He'll even find the second. 2 players ripped from the server as Astralis going to continue to close this one. Neat and tidy. Glaive will find Nexa. A covered rifle. I mean, Amanek perhaps has an opportunity here to swing this round at least a little bit into the favor of G2. Bomb's on its way towards A, and there's nothing that the CTs can really say about that.
Not much at all, really. All they can really do at this stage is sit back and wait and hope they go back towards B at this point. Device patrolling all the extremities of the map, though you can see there's no access towards short or top or middle. Hunter will be our last player. He's got no armor and a CZ and lower. Might have a chance here to get a frag. Gets the dink off, but Device going to tuck himself in. Run those bullets down. He will be dropped, but I don't think Hunter gets away with that rifle. Indeed, he will not. And there it is. 3 rounds now for Astralis to get into overtime. And they are so good at this. They are one of the best at just grinding back into these deficits and making sure they can actually get to overtime. And if they get there, they normally win them.
Off the back of a timeout, no less, Henry.
Yep.
Every single time, I swear, the power of those 30 seconds, I don't know what's said, perhaps nothing. But they do genuinely have a serious correlation between breaking when a team has a streak, those timeouts often bear fruit for Astralis.
It's funny you should say that. Historically, like Fnatic were a team that are very famous of taking a timeout and saying nothing and calming down. Like sometimes that can just be enough, just to kind of work out what's going on individually with your position and how you're getting counteracted. And this is a B split quickly. You can see them actually posturing towards the tunnels right now. Glaive's already made a way through. He's given the cue that he's found enough comfortable control towards middle that he feels like he can go in towards a B play and he'll stop the rotations. He doesn't have to be too active in that spot. He sees his teammates to trade out kills here towards B, which can be a tall order. We'll see Hunter tucking himself in towards the cubby right now. Only got the FAMAS in hand. He is isolated as well, so this doesn't look good at all. It's going to be checked, almost certainly.
Hunter's looking to wrap it up, and the spray is good enough for one. Zipex, however, with the trade, that is going to be a flurry now of players just swarming into the site. Amanek hasn't really got any teammate support in order to contest this one.
No kits, Alex. No utility. This is a save all day long.
Yeah, I mean, Jack's towards spawn. He might be able to find a little battle with Glaive. He's probably going to get caught off instead. Will tuck himself in, so preservation of weapons becomes the priority now for the French squad.
Yeah, that's a wrap. See whether this is going to be where G2 can actually hold on to the weaponry, Alex.
That is a good question. Glaive's the one to ask it. Always an interesting dynamic in Counter-Strike when you really do have an opportunity to twist the knife, the financial knife. Glaive, however, we're going to be ready for that. Lovely off-angle for Nexa to catch and save, and actually flashing for the regress, does find another one. Keeping Astralis honest, despite the round victory going their way. Tucking in and actually do see Nexa perhaps falling to Dupree. Nope, just in the nick of time. We're brought into round 29.
Well, they keep the majority of their firepower up for round 29. Just a couple now separates us from overtime. And I think this is the tactical timeout being called. It will surely be on the G2 side. It's looking to find that one extra round to get them over the finish line of their map pick of this best of 3. And now it's my chance, Alex, to give you the monologue, set the scene, get the excitement flowing. It's G2 who looks so promising so far in this second half, but now starting to crumble. The tenacity of the Danes shining brightly here. It's a difficult team to remove from the server, especially when they're this fired up. They want to take you down in your map pick, and they seem to be delivering on all fronts. 2 more rounds will do it. And as I mentioned, if you get to overtime against Astralis, you better make sure you turn up with your best game, because there's not many teams that can take them down in those sort of scenarios. I'm excited, Alex. I hope I got you pumped up. Woo. Let's get into round number 29.
Yeah, I mean, I'm throbbing all over my body.
I bet you are.
Let's see how Device knife out all the way down middle, and a flash as well. He wants to get an aggressive line early, or at least some early utility. You'll see the Molotov now just to make things a little more complicated. They'll have Magisk responsible for the Tons push, and Hunter will be set up to keep mid safe and sound regardless of any smokes. So let's actually immediately change and think better of that. A lot of moving parts to round 29 here.
A lot going on. You can see they're slightly concerned about the prospect of a B attack here. Hunter and Nexa maybe going for the old NOA boost towards middle. You don't see it too often, but it's very effective. Allows you to look over the mid smoke, any transitioning players towards shore. Did not dismount cleanly there. They made a footstep. That gives away key information. And yes, first kill the round.
Will that be enough to draw their attention away from Jax? And despite the movement from Zipex, Jax has had no issues in surviving, as Glaive's going to need a fresh magazine. Might have to even invest a Molotov into that one. He does. Jax does manage to get away, get out of dodge. Astralis changing their plans. And in response, Hunter and Nexa leading towards B. A falls as well. This is looking all good for G2. 1 frag away from taking their map pick. It's Glaive thrust into a clutch. 1 versus 4. I correct myself.
Yeah, it'll be one hell of a clutch. If he can pull this one off 30 seconds, and it should be the... Oh, he's just given up at that point as well. You got me. It's a fair cop.
You got this one, folks.
Well, there it is. They do avoid overtime. That's all that really matters. They've got the W on the board on their map pick after being down 6